Summer, absolute madness. Is it a good time to sell? Is it a good time to list on realestate.com.au? We do have the one, the only, the guru, the knower of all things realestate.com.au, Amelia Steinmetz, joining us to go through the summer madness on REA. Stay tuned. How'd you like that cheeky little intro?
Oh, that was a good one. Amelia, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you both?
Well, very
Good.
well, thank
Now,
you.
ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the smartest ladies that I've worked with at realestate.com.au. So we had to get her on air. And there's some things that we're talking about as real estate agent with buyers, particularly sellers, about real information, real data, stats, and facts from realestate.com.au. So we thought, what better than to bring realestate.com.au on and have a chat. Now, today I will be using the acronym REA for realestate.com.au. So when we say REA, that's what we mean. Amelia, thank you for coming in.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me this morning.
So realestate.com, the number one listing portal, in particular with the Northern Beaches. So it's really interesting, Amelia, I suppose, that different pockets across Sydney have preference over different platforms. So the Northern Beaches has realestate.com. The eastern suburbs, as an example, their main go-to is Domain. So very relevant, very topical for everyone in the Northern Beaches. Talking about the summer madness from your end, fire away. Tell us all things REA.
Oh, okay. So there's a bit of there's a bit of talk about what to do with properties over summer, and I get it every year. And I hear from people saying, should I keep my property online? Should I take it offline? What should I do over summer? And our stats support that summer is the busiest time on site for our audience. So for buyers looking to buy property, renters looking to find a property, and also sellers researching. And you think about it, and when you're at Christmas or you're celebrating with family and you're in your backyard and you're talking about your goals for next year and you're thinking about my New Year's resolutions and what I want to do, and I want to be fitter, I want to move closer to a beach, I want to be closer to my friends, I want to have a bigger backyard, I want to learn to roller skate, whatever it is, it usually tends itself to sort of where you live or what you do. And so we tend to find that people then start dreaming a little bit more. They want to look online, they want to find a new place, they want to move, and also mindful of school catchments. So we tend to see the highest number of traffic to our site over that summer period. We tend to find people browse during December, and then they really strike in January and February. So there's 183 million visits to the for sale section in summer. That was last year, 183 million visits to our site.
As opposed to what though? So just to give it a bit of context, 183 million during the summer period. What would it be like in winter as a comparable?
It's about 23% higher during the summer period. So if you think about that, there's a lot more traffic coming to our site over that period. And there's a 5% spike in inquiries versus even the spring selling seasons from year on year.
That's huge. And I mean, it makes sense. A lot of people have time off over the summer period, that holiday break. So you've got, 8-week holiday over if you've got kids in school. So you've got 8 weeks to really spend time with your family, figure out your steps ahead and what those goals are for you and your family, effectively.
Yeah, exactly right. So that school holiday period is actually when we do see a lot of people looking, because it's a great time for families to actually start researching, and they've kind of been able to step away from the madness, the school sport, the school drop off, and then have some time to really think about their next move. But one of the stats I love about summer is that 1 in 7 people that are looking, they will be browsing in December, but then they'll actually make an inquiry on a property in January. So it's really important to still have presence in December, knowing that 1 in 7 of those people will actually make an inquiry come Jan.
Shit.
That's a lot of traffic coming to your site, a lot of inquiry, a lot of active buyers, active renters, active prospects, I suppose, out there. Do you know what the split is between people looking to buy or sell versus the people looking to lease or find a rental property?
Yeah, so our rental stats definitely ramp up over summer too. And again, it's because people are trying to get into the right catchment zone for schools. So I do actually have some stats for rental in particular. So we see an increase in applications by 25% versus spring. So where people are actually taking action and jumping in and inquiring more on properties. Email inquiries are 11%, phone inquiries up 8%. So people are really jumping in on those rental properties too, trying to do something quickly over that summer period, who may have just been thinking about moving over spring, winter, and then really taking action in summer.
Amelia, I've got a question in relation to, I understand that, and we promote the same to clients. We're saying, look, it's a great time. Agents are going away, people are going away, but people's dwell time online is huge. People are aspirational through that time. It's huge. You can't turn the emotion off buying something or going to rent something new. You don't just go, okay, turn it off, that emotion, and I'll turn it back on in February. If anything, it resonates more when you've got a little bit more time, public holidays and stuff like that. So it's clear people are out. My question to you is, what brings on that? How does a seller or a landlord convert that to cash, or how do they optimize on that? Is it simply by just having it on the market and out there on REA, or it's? I get that that's emotion, but how can people sort of cash in on that?
Yeah, sure. So it is that presence online. We tend to find that a lot of people take their properties offline during that period. And so you're kind of on that supply-demand ratio there, right? So if there's less properties to look at online, then it's going to draw up that demand on the properties that are on the market. And in turn, we think it's going to generate more people at the open homes, a more competitive price for the listing. And we hope that it's actually going to sell faster. But one thing that really helps with all of that is also having a video inspection on the listing during that period too. So even after COVID, and we sort of surpassed that COVID period, but we find that people are still really engaged with videos on listings. So if you can put a video online for people to really get a feel for the walkthrough, if you're away or it's smack bang in the middle of that Christmas week to New Year's week, having that video engagement is a great way to sort of drum up a bit of excitement. So come the first open for inspection in January, you're going to have a long list of people lining up. So it's about that presence on site, Mark. It's about having that point of difference as well, and it's about creating that excitement to get more money for the listing and hopefully sell the property faster as well.
You got it.
Interesting. Yeah, it makes sense. Video engagement is always high across the board. Look at the way we take in content, be it Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, everything. So that makes sense. Amelia, have you found that as real estate agents, we talk about the slow spring selling season? Everyone talks about it. Usually spring is really strong to list your property, and that had a really delayed effect this year. We saw a very late spring selling season. How has that impacted REA, and in turn, how do you think it will impact the summer madness?
Yeah, so we definitely saw a lower number of new listings hitting the market earlier this year. And then that sort of spring frenzy sort of happened, and we saw a whole bunch of new listings hitting the market, especially on the northern beaches in sort of July, August, which I think there was a whole flurry of people trying to list their property maybe ahead of the normal later spring rush. But also because we didn't have a lot of new listings hitting the market earlier in the year. So as a result of that, we found higher average sold prices coming through. Properties were moving quite quickly as well. So it was a real test to see what demand there was out there for those properties. And so we expect that summer's going to continue on that sort of similar pattern, that people have been waiting for nice properties to hit the market because we've had a lack of stock. So we expect that the summer period is going to be quite busy, because there's going to be a lot of people that may have not have purchased earlier in the year, that were sort of holding out for a property to come on the market towards the end of the year. And as we saw stock sort of slow down in sort of October and even this month, we expect that there's still going to be that demand out there for buyers that are looking to purchase before next year starts. So I think the frenzy that we kind of had around spring and those new listings and the sold price being higher and that activity, I think it's definitely going to continue into summer.
And there's also people are sitting on 90-day finance approval, and if they get re-rated, they're not going to actually get that loan to that value again. So I think it's happened at a counterintuitive time where there's less stock coming on because people are sort of taking a holiday, and buyers are saying, God, I've got to buy something before my 90-day approval is up, because then I've got to go back to the bank and I've got to get reassessed, and I'm not going to get that much money. So there could be a little bit of urgency there. This is a live show, so if you've got any questions, pop them down. We do have the absolute expert Amelia from realestate.com.au from REA, so throw your questions at her. Luke's got one at the moment. What's the busiest day on REA? Do you know that one?
Oh, we don't have a specific day, but I know January is definitely the busiest month. I think the day would vary across the country, just depending on public holidays and all sorts of different pieces. But certainly January is the busiest month on our side. Day, I don't know.
No worries.
Leave that question to next time, Amelia.
Yeah, I'll have to get some research from the data team.
And what's the most number one question you get asked by? So, guys and girls, Amelia's going going all around the country, particularly I think northern beaches and around there, talking to real estate agents. What's the number one question that you get asked by real estate agents when you walk into their offices?
What's happening in the market, the wider market?
Yeah. Well, you're the one aggregating all the agents' feedback.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting, and talking to my colleagues as well in other areas and other states too, sort of hearing what they're seeing, what the trends are with the market. But surprisingly, we sort of see a trend carry down from, let's say, New South Wales, and then ACT's a couple of months sort of behind those trends. So we love to talk to each other to sort of see what's happening in sort of the national market as well. But it's interesting to see the trends from, say, Upper North Shore moving into Northern Beaches, moving into Lower North Shore, and how that impacts everybody. So I think the question that I get the most when I walk into an office is, what's happening in the market? What do you see happening in the next couple of months? And I really think we're going to see a busier summer period, just given that there hasn't been a lot of stock. It's just that supply demand that we've been seeing over sort of that spring frenzy moving into summer. So I think we'll see a lot of demand and inquiries and views on properties in summer.
And Amelia, so the three of us are all Northern Beaches OGs, born and bred, raised in the Northern Beaches. So Amelia, you have an affinity to the beaches as well. I'm just talking about this area because it's where we do the most amount of business. How do you find the Northern Beaches market differs to the other markets across Sydney?
Well, the good thing about the Northern Beaches is that everyone wants to live there. I could be a bit biased there, but we're obviously we're close to the beach. It's a beautiful area. There's great shopping, there's great food, and so it naturally attracts a lot of people moving to the Northern Beaches. And I think that's why as well we see a lot of traffic over that summer period where people are trying to move across. But we also have the people internationally that move across, whether they be expats or whether they be coming over here on a working visa. They all want to live on the Northern Beaches. So it's a very in-demand area, and it attracts a lot of people to come and live over on this side. You can see Luke, they're living and loving on the Shire. Same thing applies close to the beach. So it's definitely those markets that are close to the beach have a great range of shopping and restaurants, and it's definitely an attraction area for those things. I think that's what drives the traffic to these listings, and that's why prices are high and houses are hard to come by for both renters and purchasers. It's a hot area.
Now, we can't let you go without you answering one of the questions that you answered. I asked you what is the number one question that real estate agents ask you when you walk in the office, and you said, how's the market going? How is the market going?
It's doing well. As I said before, that there's been less new listings hitting the market this year as we anticipated, and then we sort of saw a peak sort of early spring season, and there were some marketplaces that had more new listings hit the market in sort of that July, August period, in September even, than what we've ever seen in the last 3 years. So it was a really busy spring frenzy, yeah. But also the prices that were achieved. Yeah, the prices that were achieved, and as well, a lot of people still talk about the peak of the market being that 2021 sort of spring season. But the prices that we've seen in some marketplaces have been well above that. So the median sold price, for example, for the North Sydney LGA, the apartments there have gone absolutely nuts, and the average sold price is way higher than expected. Upper North Shore just went bonkers. So it's looking really positive for vendors right now. And if you're thinking about selling or considering selling, then I think now's a good time, just based on that demand and the fact that people want to buy, and they're willing to make a move and pay big money for beautiful property.
Awesome. Before we go, Lisa's got a question. Do you track international data?
Oh, so we have a global property network as part of REA. So when you list with us as a premier listing, you automatically go out to our international database, and we have got different portals in a number of different international countries in Asia and also in the USA. We don't track exactly the audience from there, but we definitely have seen a peak in sort of people on individual properties, but we have seen a peak in people coming, and especially looking from those sort of Asian markets into Australia, and that did come across because of the Hong Kong unrest that we had. But we don't track specifically, but we know that there are a lot of people looking internationally to come across to beautiful Australia.
A lot of data, a lot of facts, a lot of figures. Amelia, your first morning minutes, will you join us again?
Definitely. Please put me on the roster.
You are the best. The REA goddess, Amelia, thank you so much for coming on. I've got to say, every time you're in the office, I do rush to see you, and that's pretty rare for a rep that I do that, because you've always got great, helpful information. So I'm so glad to have you on air. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amelia. See you
Pleasure.
again soon. Bye, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Anthony, you're not too bad either. Thank you.
I'll be here every Wednesday.
You're the best. Thanks, girls. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Hey, guys.